Thumbs up, Jez. Thumbs
Go,
up.
go, go.
Morning, everyone. Right, okay, we'll get this right eventually, you know, we're pure beginners. Right, I'm waiting for the thumbs up. I didn't even get a pointy finger this time, so there you go. Anyway, we've got a new set. Yay! It was the one that we were going to do last week, but we had a few little changes on it. And what it is, remember the last demo I did before we broke up for summer? I think it was the bees. So we decided to bring a bee cutter out. Now, before we could do that, we finished for the summer holidays. So we've done it now. So I know the bees are finishing, if they haven't already finished. There's not many about us there. But if you're a bee fan, which I am, I love bees, then it doesn't matter what time of year. Even Christmas, you can stick a Christmas hat on it, can't you? So if you love bees, you love bees, and that's all there is to it. So I'm going to show you that set. Plus, now I'm going to just make a little daisy and a leaf, because all the bees need flowers. So the whole design of this includes some flowers. And a few of you said you don't mind me still demonstrating patchwork cutters, because although we're not selling them, lots of places are, people are selling them. Yeah, you know, anyway, so I will continue demonstrating them patchwork cutters in amongst everything else, like today. So here we go. So this is the bee set we have. I'll just make sure Jez isn't squashing anything. So that's the cookie cutter, which I'm going to show you later, the cookies. And then you've got a little bee. We didn't bother putting legs and things on, because if you're going to cut it out, we just thought you might want the legs in different positions. So we're going to just roll little sausages for that. And then there's two little faces. Now, we were thinking of doing, in this one, there's two little sort of circles for eyes. And we were going to put a fixed smaller circle in, but then that sort of sets it to the expression where the bee's looking. Then we were going to do a separate little circle, and then we thought, that's so small, that's going to get lost. It'll be up somebody's hoover before you can say anything. So we decided to leave that, and I'll show you what to do. You can freehand paint it or use a little piping nozzle. Okay, so I'm going to put those to one side for a moment while I make a couple of little flowers and leaves. So I'll just do one of each, because I have already done my homework and got them ready. So for the flower, now these are the patchwork cutters. So that is, I think, out of the Fantasy Flower set. And this one is the leaf from the large daisy set. So they're the two I'm using today. Now, I mean, shops who used to take ours, what's the one beginning with V? Can't remember.
Oh, Vanilla Valley.
Vanilla Valley. Vanilla Valley used to take loads of our cutters, and so did Surbiton Sugar Art. So, as others did as well. So, you know, it's worth looking round, but people are selling them on now. They've moved on to buttercream cakes and drips and sprinkles. So, you know, it's down to what you like doing, really. The types of cakes, but there's still lots of patchwork cutters out there. I'm just going to fold my sleeves back once more, because they're just getting in the way a bit. Right, that's it. So just roll out. Now this is just sugar paste. I haven't added anything to it. It's the supermarket's own. Well, I think it is anyway. Oh, it might not be. Hang on, I'll tell you now. Oh no, it's Silver Spoon sugar paste. So it's just from the supermarket, obviously, but it's Silver Spoon. And then I am going to put just a little bit of Trex on the cutter. I haven't said that for a while. Right, so I'm cutting out this one, and I'll cut out another one. So I'm just doing double layer little daisy type flowers for this. But if you haven't done flowers before or anything like this, is a nice little one for you to make in lots of different colours. I'm just sticking to white. Okay, so take that, and it's quite a firm. Now, if your sugar paste is a bit soft, just put a pinch of Tylo powder to it and work it, and that will firm it up. I tell you whose sugar paste is really good. Sugar and Crumbs, and you don't need to add anything to that. It's spot on. So if you can get that, then I'll just send to Sugar and Crumbs for it. Always recommend their sugar paste, one of the best. Right, so I'm just loosening that now, and I'm going to use my frilling stick, if I can find it. Now, I put things away. I had it yesterday. Right, put it in upside down, that's why I couldn't see it. So this is a gem, and it's got the texture on there. So you've also got a little smiley mouth if you ever need one. So I'm just going round this, just widening these petals. Don't take too much notice about the centre, because that will have the stamens in. So just giving that a little bit of texture on there. And then I'm going to lift that. And I'm going to dry that one flat. I mean, you can roll out. I'm still rolling out on Trex, but there's no reason why. If you prefer corn flour, then use that. So I would dry that one flat, and then so I've got one here already dried overnight. It's still got a little bit of movement in it because this is only sugar paste. And then what I did last night, rolled the second one. So as I say, you can do these in lots of different colours, and then do a nice big bouquet of them if you wanted to. It look lovely like that. But what I've done with this, I've taken my tray and my little paint palette tray. I'm going to lift that up. Right. And instead of putting it inside, all I've done is turn that over, pattern side down, and pop it on there. So you don't get quite as tighter curl on, dip in the centre. Right, so I've got one here already dried, so you just leave it loose like this. Can't get it off. And so what I did then, I'm going to break, yeah, I've broken it. Oh, that was a good start. Right, never mind, doesn't matter. There. Should have lifted it up in the first place. Right, so what I did, I painted the inside green, and then after dinner last night, the oven was just nice and warm, so I had a few on there, and I just popped that tray in the oven. It wasn't on, so it wasn't terribly hot. It wasn't going to melt the plastic, anything like that. But it did give that, let me take that off, it did give that a really good drying out. There's that petal gone. Right, but you can see, if I'd put that in the top, there's a gentler curve to it. If I'd put it in there, it would be a really strong dip. Yeah, so I will use this. You won't even notice that that's fallen off. Right, so we've got our two halves dried, and as I say, I've dusted the centre with a nice lime green. I've gone about just starting to go up each of the petals there. Right, so you take the dried one like that, and I've made some paste goo. So I've got a piece of the sugar paste that I've just made the flour with. I've done this before, and I've added water to it, a small piece, and I start off with my fingers and then finish off with my knife. So I've got some nice bit of goo there, which you can use for sticking things together. Oh, not that one, that one. It's a good start, isn't it? Right, put that on the flat base one. You could put green colour on this as well, but you're not really going to see much of it. Okay, and then you're going to take this one and pop it on the top. So sit it so that the petals will lie between the lower ones. And then I'll just stick this at the back, a bit of glue on there. Put it there. I'm going to put stamens in this, and that should cover the join. Okay, so don't throw things away, hang on to them, because you can usually fix them with an extra layer. And then for the centre, I've got some yellow paste. So this is just you could use anything. I'm just showing you a little backup of flowers to use. So a small ball of paste. Take your small tea strainer. And then, so don't put it in a big piece, because what you want is that to come through quite thick. And if you spread it out too much, you won't get the length of the strands. So I turn that over now. I'll moisten the centre of that. I'm going to have to use this brush. I meant to look for another brush before, but I'll have to use that one. So I'm just putting quite a bit of water in the centre and over the join. And then a small palette knife. And I'm going to lift this off. So if you were doing like pom-poms for hats and things, you'd have a little ball of paste and then this would go on top. But I'm going to try and take this off in a sort of a round clump, if you like. Like so, lift it over, pop it in there, then have a cocktail stick just to press those down. It's always the way. Yes, last night I just churned these out and today they're fighting back. But I'll show you the ones I've done. I'm going to put another piece in there actually. Don't you find when you're doing cake deck, the first few things never turn out right, do they? They're like pancakes. They always take about half a dozen before you get a nice one. Right, so let me just lift some of these. That's better. And so make sure that you've gone over that join. And then when they're dry, you can put a darker shade of. Now I've got this one. That was drying from before. So I've got some already done here. Like so, and then as I say, you get a darker yellow, excuse me, stretching in front of the camera there, and you can just touch a little bit of darker yellow in there. If you had a coloured daisy, then you could use a darker shade of whatever colour you're using, or you could, if you got white, then you can get something like a pink on the ends there and just go around and lightly just touch. Kiss the edges of pink. How poetic. Oh, Jess is coughing. Right, so you won't even see that, but I've got some daisies there. I've got some small ones here. Now the leaves, I'm going to use the daisy cutter again. And some green sugar paste. So none of it is flour paste. But by leaving that tray of daisies, that one, in the oven, in the warmth, they really dried out firmly and held the shape, unlike some of the leaves here. They were cut out last night. You can see they're still bendy because I've just left them out in the room. So they haven't really been, they will dry hard eventually, but not just. To clean this, by the way, you can just scrape that out. You don't even have to wash it, it just all pops out. Right, so I'm just going to roll this out. So for this the little small plunger type flowers, the little blossoms, if you cut out one of these, so you've got your, it looks like a green daisy. Okay, and I'll pop it onto a tray so that I can lift it to you. Okay, got all sorts here because I've got a lot to show you. Right, and then I'm using a Dresden tool. So I'm just going to go down the centre of each of these with the sharp end of the Dresden, not the flat. Okay, so it's like that. And then you just cut through. So you can either leave two leaves together or cut through and have them separate. So if I just do that, so you've got two leaves still attached, so you can put a little flower later on. I will. So that. I'll probably separate them all out. So cut through. And so you have 8 leaves at 1, 3, so 8 leaves straight away. Okay, so I'll pop those on there for later. So we've got that one. Now the other leaf I want to cut out is this one, and that's with the again with sugar paste, and it's with the daisy, large daisy patchwork cutter. Now this is lifting up because I haven't put any tracks on the board. So I'll just put a little bit and then that sticks it down, you see. So you should do that really with all patchwork cutters. Seems so weird doing a demo patchwork cutter. Right, and then a little bit of Trex on there, on the cutter. So the Trex on the board makes the paste stick to it. The Trex on the cutter makes the cutter just slip away, and the paste won't stick inside, she says. If the paste is thin, it won't stick inside. It's only when it's really thick that it tends to lift in there. But if it's thin, it'll stay on the board. The pull of the board is stronger than the cutter. And all you do is pull that paste away around the outside edge, like that, and you've got a nice jaggedy leaf. And if I'm rolling out quite a large piece and I've cut loads of leaves, then before I take that paste away, what I do is get a dark green colour, and then I just brush that all over them at the centre of each leaf. Then I take the other paste away. It just means that I'm not having to chase around each leaf separate. I'm not even doing the edges on this, I just want them flat. Oh, my flat. Right. So so I've got the flowers and the leaves ready, and then now I'm going to make some little beads. So start off with your yellow colour. So I've got a darker yellow. What's that one? I'll do a couple actually, because then I'll show you about embossing the little faces and what to do with it. So still just sugar paste, nothing added, not even Tylo. Right. Just move that out of my way. Oh, keep it handy because I'm going to put the beads on there. Right, so you don't need anything on there, no tracks or anything. I'm just going to roll out the paste. I'll tell you what, I'll lift it onto there so I can tip it up. Right. Excuse me, I'm just going to have a drink of water. I'm getting me a bit of a husky voice again. I am getting this sorted today, so hopefully I won't be water all over my board. Hopefully I won't be croaky anymore. Right, so this is the little bee cutter. And you don't really need Trex on it, but just press firmly. Oh, do you know what? I've gone too thin. I've gone into patchwork cutter mode. I've gone too thin. You need to leave this slightly thicker. Sorry. Anyway, it's a good thing to see, isn't it? But yeah, you leave it slightly thicker, otherwise you won't. All the detail is set slightly back, you see. Right, so I'm leaving that a little bit thicker than I would for patchwork cutters, and then I'll put it on there. Give a good press, flick that away, and then just pull the paste from around the outside edge. Push in if you've got any little feathery bits, because it is injection. No, it's not injection molding So injection moulding, you can get to a really fine point, but with the, what do you call it? Printed, 3D printed. Yeah, it's you can't get it that fine, otherwise they break easily. But I'm going to put that on there so you can see, by leaving it just a little bit thicker, you can see the detail comes out nicely. Right, so I'll do 2 and then I can show you the different faces. In fact, I want to show you how by moving the cutter you can get a totally different look to the face. So I'll cut a couple out. Okay, so that's thick enough. Okay, so get that off there. So if you do this and you think, oh, the detail hasn't come out, then just scrunch it up and roll another one out. Easy as that. And all this will come away very easily. And as I say, just have a little brush just to go around. I mean, there's hardly anything there. I'm being a little bit picky, a bit perfectionist. But by the time you put it on, whatever it is you put this on, you don't even notice them. But if you have got any little feathery bits, just go around with your brush. It can be a dry brush. Don't need tracks or anything on it really. Right, and then put that on there. So I've got 3 little bees. Okay. Just put that down. Now the faces, let me get these 2 little faces here. So this is my little happy face, which I love. So I'm just putting this, where the head sort of dips in, if you have that, the eyes just round about there, and then press. You're not pressing hard, you're not trying to cut through, you're just embossing that little happy face. Can you see? On there. Now, if I take the same cutter and I tilt it, the difference between the 2. So you're getting that little cute smile, little he looks like he's saying, who, me? I never pull the petals off. Right, so this one, again, position the eyes to where the head just dips in a bit. Now this is where we left this tiny circle. So what I would do with that, well, what you can do is paint it white and then paint little black circles. If you're not quite happy doing it freehand, then use something like a 3.5 or a number 4 piping nozzle, so it's easy to handle as well. And you can just press that on, and so that gives you a little circle to paint. Now if you think you want a bee here and he's looking up that way, then put the, as I've done there. If something's going on down here amongst the flowers, you can put that little circle at the bottom, or you can have it just central, wherever you want it. And that's what makes them a little bit special. You can sort of make it your own little design there. Right, so I'm going to just paint these in now. Put that to one side. So I'll just do, well, I'll do one of each. Right, let's move this out of the way. Let's be tidy. Write the date down. Right. Put all that there, put that over there, put that over there. So I'm going to, now with the wings, you've got the choice. You can either just go straight over with something like a white satin. Let me just dry that off on my hand a bit. Or even an ivory. Let me show you this. So you can just make the wings look nice and shiny, like so. So that's pretty straightforward. or you can paint them in. So I'll make them look colourful. So if I do this one, so we paint, so I'm using, you can use the Rejuvenator Spirit, or if you can't have alcohol on anything, although the alcohol evaporates away, but if you don't want to use that, you can't get hold of it, get some pure lemon extract from the supermarket. That paints well as well. Okay, so I've put pink on there, and I'll go in with a nice lime green. So just do the tops there, and maybe that one there. So I do the wings first, so that when I go over with the white satin or the ivory, it won't go on the black, which I'm going to paint in a minute. And I'll do some purple or lilac. And there. And on there. And then some blue. I'll lift this up now so that you can see. It's just a thin wash. I'm not taking that much care. It's just to give a nice bit of colour on the wings. And blue there. I'll show you that. So I've got colours on there, and then just to soften all that down, just wait for that to. I'll wait for that to just dry off a minute while I do this part. I'll just give him hair. No, him. Oh, I don't know that much about these. I know I like them, but are they all? Because the queen bee, it should put a little crown. Oh, no, we should have done a crown. Let's put a bit of pink on that one. And then blank it out again. So there's a hint of colour on the wings on that one. So it's got a little bit of pink. So that's just white satin, a little bit of pink, and then the other one. I think actually, as I said before, I think it's ivory. Right, this is dried already, because that's the lemon extract does dry really quickly. And then a really good coating of the shimmer. If I lift it up, you see the difference between the two when you've got this nice strong coating of the shimmer on there. Yep, so it's up to you how much colour you want to put on that. Right, so then fine brush, I'm going to use the black little dot of colour on there. Doesn't take long to paint them up. You could, if you wanted to, cut out a little bit and take the stripes in sugar paste and put them on separately. But I'm going to paint them. Right, so I'm going to start off up here with the, you see, I call these antlers, and they're not, are they? What are the feelers? Antennae, that's it. And if you wanted to, you could always just pipe a little line at the top there between the two. There. Lift that up so you can see. But I would say, if you put them on a small board like I have here, and you look at it from all angles, you can see the little bits that you've missed. And that's quite handy then to do that. So just a very fine brush. This is I should have my other glasses on. That's a 30 Pure Sable. So all the fine detail, little highlight on his nose and there. You could use the black dust if you wanted to. But make sure you get the brush into the embossed groove there. I'll do that, and then I'll do his. Just do one of each. Little nose. And so you could do the mouth in black or pink. I'll do black. I've got that on my brush. Just run that in the embossed line. Like so. I just love these because you can just put so funny expressions on them. So cute. As I say, I do love bees. I love anything cute, really. Love teddies. Anything like that. So I'm just going to go, I've got a slightly thicker brush here, just to paint in the stripes. And again, look at it from all angles, make certain that you're getting a nice coating, even coating. This has gone a bit thin, so I'll just give it a couple of coats, especially that one. And then this one. This is definitely one of those times when you put the Rager on and just sit and paint. It's lovely, but it's nothing too hard because you've got the pattern there for you, so you haven't got to make anything up. Just make sure that you do get the brush into the groove. I'm sure that was a song. You don't want it just to, you need a definite outline to the black there. Put a bit more on his eyes, like so. And then a little bit of back in there. Wash that. So a little bit of pink in his mouth. Maybe wait for the black to dry fully before you do this bit. There. So I'll show you that, and then the other one needs just a little bit of white. There it is, in the eye. You could paint a little tongue on the other one, couldn't you? You do so much with them. Right, I've got white pink on there. So just round the back of that, behind the black. And a tiny white dot. Oh, again, you can wait for the black to dry. And if you wanted to introduce a bit more colour, then you can do a little tongue. So I'm just going to put this onto a board, then I want to show you what else you can do with this. So it's got just a tiny tongue there. Right, so let me just clear this away and I'll show you about putting them on things. So while I've been backwards and forwards with all my washing my brush and all the rest of it, I've dripped water over my plaque, so I'll use that as a base. I'll turn it right the other way, see what I mean? So I'll put my flowers on here. But before I stick them down, what I would do now is pop flowers on here. Can you, hopefully you can see this, but I don't want to stick anything down just yet. I'm going to put one in the middle, maybe one there. I'll move all up a bit. And this is why you're not sticking them, so that you can see where things are going to go. Then with these leaves, decide that's going to go under there. This one will go down here, and then, excuse my arms, I'll put one there. I'll put one in between there, just roughly putting them in so I know where I'm going to stick them. I'll put that in last. One will go there, one will go there. If I can turn that up to you without anything sliding off, you can see I'm wanting to do with this corner, but take it to a point with the leaves at the end there. So then I can bring it back in my glue. And I can stick these down. I'll just leave that like that for now. This could be a little softer, but that will hold it. Right, so I'm going to put that one there. I'm going to put that one there. I'll put that one there. And I'm putting that one there. Okay. Maybe that one's going to go there. Just need a little bit behind it to hold it. And that one will go there. Right, then I can now take some more and put it where the flower is going to go. So now I'm going to have one of my bees there. I'll think about that in a minute. Just push that up, move that round, and I think this is the one I did this morning. It's still a bit soft. Yeah, it is. Okay. Right. Just need another. Up there. Right, so they are all stuck on there now. So I can now bring in my bees. I've got some here that I made last night, and I have put some legs on this one and this one. I don't think, no, that one's come off. It's best to put the legs on when the actual bee is in situ, because you may not want to see the whole bee. Now I quite fancy having one just tucked in here. So I'll just lift this. There. And it would be quite nice to have one
up here. Put a little bit of paste behind that so I don't knock the flower. So just slot that in like so. So you can see it's building up nicely. And because I'm going to add a few arms there in a moment, but this one, let's see, I don't think that one will come with his legs, so we might do. Yeah. Okay, so put quite a little lump of icing underneath the head, so it's all the same level. So we've got a little, oh no, yeah, his legs fell off. But it's easier if you actually make the leg. And you can put it on in situ, because as I say, you may not see the legs much. Now this one here, I'm going to roll out a couple of little arms because and a leg for there. I'll just put that to one side a minute. Put that one side, cover it up again because it does skin over. I'm just going to take a little bit of black paste. I think if you have a look on here, I've also painted a couple of little eyebrows on some of them, but not on all of them. So that would be up to you. And we'll give a little leg. So I'm going to roll this, just soften it first. Again, black sugar paste, nothing special. Oh, apart from the green bit that's in it. Let's take that out. Right, so I'm going to roll that out. Nice and thin. And then just have your smoother ready to just go over. And if you have an extruder, then you can use that. Right, and then I'm going to just cut a couple of I'll use that for water. Just put some water there. And a little ball for his foot. And then a little arm. Now, I'm really not sure how many legs does a bee have? Is it 6? Oh, I'm not sure. Considering I like them, I don't know that much about them, do I? But I know how many legs a spider has. Oh, have you had the big spiders coming in? Horrendous. There's one in our bedroom. And I wouldn't let Jez go to bed until he caught it. And oh God, I won't even go into it. It was just, I was so pathetic. I think it was a dinosaur. It's just a little spider. Well, it wasn't little actually, it was enormous. Jez said, he's not going to hurt you. He is. He's going to creep up me in the night. Just get a little bit out of there. I hope you can see what I'm doing. Push it down there for now. And so this little arm on here. put all the little fine bits on. So if he's holding onto a flower, then I'll put this on here. I won't bother with legs on this one, because you don't need to sit much but do legs. You could have an arm on each flower really, so it's hanging out there. Okay, so he's got a little one there, could have one there, could have his legs up on one. You know, make it your own little pattern on there. Fill in with some of the small ones if you wanted to. Now I can see a gap there, and that needs a leaf. So I'll show you with and without. So you can see there, if you sort of squint your eyes a bit, it shows that it needs something there. So if I just get that and push it in, yeah, looks better with. Always try it, and if you don't like it, then take it out. You know, you don't have to have it on there. And there's another one down there as well, which I think could just do with a little bit of a that one there. Just gives a nice background, fills in the gaps. Okay, and then you can put your greetings on or whatever you want on there. Now you'll notice that in that pack you get you got there for now. You get this little cookie cutter. So rather than just do a round, which you could use, I've got sort of, it would need to be that size. Let me just take one of these guys that I've just cut out now. Come on, mate. Oh. So you could put that on there with a couple of little flowers and a couple of those leaves. So that's a nice cupcake size. Or this is just for a round cookie, but why would you have a round cookie when you've got a nice cookie shape like that? But if you wanted like a blue background, then that would fit on the cookie. And again, you can add your flowers and your leaves and everything else on there. So I'm just going to take that off a minute because I have cut out some cookies. Biscuits, we can call them biscuits, can't we? So I've just put some on here, right, and I'm going to just place some of these on. So you can put that on there, and that's his little foot that came off before. So he could go on there. You find a bit of gunge underneath. Now you can stick the sugar paste on. So I've cut out using the non-stick cookie cutter, non-spread cookie cutter, cookie recipe. I'll get it right in a minute. I'm doing two things at once. Those days are well gone. Yeah, so the recipe I've used is the one I always use, and it's from the Pink Whisk. Ruth Clements from the Pink Whisk. Now that there, I can see there's a tiny bit of black. Well, I'll do it after, but just by moving that, I can see there's a little bit of black missing off the mouth there. That needs painting it. So I've put that one on there. I'll put another one on here. I've just made, so I need to put legs and arms on, but I won't. Now you don't have to put them straight, you can put them at an angle. You could pipe or you could draw them on. And if you felt that you couldn't really see the yellow against the yellow, on this one I've just dusted, I don't know if you can see, but I've just dusted a little green dust there, so that when I put the little bee on, come on mate, he stands out a little more because of the slight green background on there. But then you can take this knife and just put a few little flowers on. As I say, you could pipe on some legs if you're going to do lots of them. You didn't want to be rolling out loads. Then just put these on. A little green. Another one there. I would normally have that in a piping bag and pipe all the little dots on. And another little leaf there. So I will put legs and things on, and then Neil's going to pop round later when he's back, and he'll take a photo of the leaves, so you can just, you can see that one. We've got a few little flowers and leaves on there. Now for this, for those who don't like icing, and there are some people who don't like icing, not my crowd, they love it, but you just can't have that much sugar or whatever. Then, you know, I do like embossing with either ink, like not ink, but food colouring on a sponge, and you touch that on and you tap it onto icing. But for this, now my friend in Pecha in Bulgaria, she's a lovely girl, had a lovely time when we used to do the shows together, and she came up with this idea, so it's not my idea, it's her idea, of embossing, cocoa embossing, and it works so well with the patchwork cutters. She came on our stand many years ago and did a lovely demonstrations on the cocoa embossing, and I just say, do you mind if I just pinch that idea? And she generously said, no, you carry on. So I'm just going to do this now. So for those who haven't seen it before, because I know we have got some new people with me, new members of the group, which is lovely. So I've got some of the dough here from yesterday. So all you do, I mean, it's so easy to do these. You can churn them out, and you don't have to colour them. You don't have to do anything else other than this. So this is my dough. I'm using my, I use the yellow, oh, that needs to, it's better when it's fresh. This is sort of dried out a little bit, but it is better when it's fresh. Don't store it in the fridge, it's the same. Right, let's get some flour on there. Okay, there we go. There you go. So that's the thickness that I like. You go for the thickness that you like. And then I'm going to use my cutter. I have that there. So any of the, well, most of the patchwork cutters and the and now the combo cutters you can do this with. So you need a piece of greaseproof paper. Put that on a board. Oh yeah, put it on the board, get rid of that. Excuse me stretching over. And I've got cocoa powder in here, so you don't need much, just a teaspoon of cocoa powder on there. Now when I normally do this, if all the lines of what you're embossing are the same depth, you just need to have a very thin covering of this. So I swoosh it about like this, and that just gives a nice thin even coating. But because, as we have seen, the tummy lines are a little further back, I do like to make it a little bit thicker. Sorry, you can see why I did this last. covered everything in cocoa powder. Now because you go like this and you tend to get on your fingers and you're embossing it like that, what you can do is just take a little bit of blue tack, just work it so that's soft, and then press that down on the back of your cutter, and it's easier to emboss then. Keep your fingers out of it. We didn't put a handle on the back because it just takes, you wouldn't believe how long it takes. You can have a look at it and see that you've got a good coating all over. You can see on there, maybe those wings need a little bit more, the inner part, that's better. Okay, so then you take your cookie and you pop that on. Now it doesn't have to be straight, again you can go at any angle, so just get it on, give a tap, not too heavy, take it off, and you've got your little figure on there. So then you choose which face you're going to do. Now I'm going to do this one with the round eyes because then you can see what I do about the inner eye. So again, use your blue tack, just press it down on the back of your cutter or your embosser. You can see there it's got a nice little smiley face, and I think I'll do it at a slight angle there. It's got this little face embossed in, and then I'm going to use that piping nozzle again, but instead of just doing it plain, I'm tapping that into the cocoa, and I'll put the eyes there, as you can see, with and without, and a little tap. Oop, there. Starting to chuck it down the drain again. Right, so like that. So then what I do, I bake them, yeah, and I'll bring that bowl back in now. Let me get rid of this. Tell you what, I'll put it back in here. Because the other faces, you know, you just emboss the same way, but it does help with a bit of blue tack on the back. But don't lose them, keep them all together. They're only small, aren't they? Right, so let me get this in here. So I'll bring that plate back in, and you can see on here I've painted on. So I'm just going to use brown food colouring. You could use the cocoa if you wanted, but I find just a bit of brown food colouring and a fine brush and my lemon extract. I'll just put a little leg on here and a foot. And the leg. And a foot. And a little arm. And whatever it's called. And on this side. Bits on. And then you can obviously use some of your leaves up. If you wanted to fill in between this and give it a little bit of greenery, some of your leaves in between. So they all fit nicely, don't they? Like the little... I need to cut some more of those out. But anyway, I will for the photo that Neil will be putting on, and just put a few little of the white flowers that I'm sure you have in stock in your little bag or box. So that would be your little plate of cookies. So you could have like a happy birthday as the centre one there, couldn't you? You can see the different colour on the wings. Those are just the plain white ones, and then you've got the coloured ones here. So there we have it. That's our set. I don't know where Jerry is on camera. He's wandered off. Here he comes. So you can just see that's a little thing. I'll put some more leaves on here. Okay, so
Great.
that's it, right, we're back. He's that busy looking at it, he forgot to lift the camera up.
That's good. I'll just have one now with my cup of tea.
Oh, right, okay. Well, wait till the photos are done first. Yeah, he's gonna. There's one missing. When the photo, you see the photo, if there's one of these missing, you know who's had it. Yeah, so anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you like the new set. Now, I think Neil's putting this on over the weekend. So, yeah, it'll be on our website when it's available. It won't be long. And yeah, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for joining me today. And yeah, hopefully next week I won't be so croaky. See you then. All right. Hope you can join me next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Take care all. Bye bye.